In a quiet town, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, a group of 4 friends, Abby, Brian, Chris, and Dana, embarked on an adventure to explore an abandoned mansion rumored to be haunted. This grand, dilapidated structure sat at the edge of the woods, its windows boarded up and the once majestic garden overgrown with weeds. The friends, fueled by curiosity and the thrill of potentially encountering the supernatural, decided to document their exploration for their online followers. As they approached the mansion, a sense of unease washed over them, but their excitement quickly overshadowed any fear. They pried open a boarded window to gain entry, their flashlights cutting through the darkness within. The mansion's interior was a time capsule of opulence and decay. Paintings stared down at them from the walls, and furniture lay draped in dust covers. Their exploration led them to a vast library, where they stumbled upon a peculiar book. Its pages were filled with strange symbols and writings in a language none of them recognized. Fascinated, they decided to read aloud from the book, a decision they would soon regret. The moment the words were spoken, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew colder, and a thick fog seeped into the room, obscuring their vision. Panicking, they attempted to leave the library, only to find the door had vanished, replaced by solid wall. They were trapped. As they searched for another way out, they realized the mansion had come alive around them. Hallways twisted and turned in impossible ways. Staircases led to nowhere, and rooms appeared and disappeared at will. The mansion seemed to be playing a sinister game with them, one that they were losing. In the midst of their terror, they began to hear whispers in the fog. At first, they thought it was one another, but they soon realized the voices were not their own. The whispers grew louder, morphing into laughter and cries that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Determined to stick together, they held hands and moved forward, guided only by the weak beams of their flashlights. They encountered otherworldly apparitions, shadows that moved against the laws of physics, figures that watched them from the darkness, and faces that appeared in mirrors only to vanish when they looked again. As hours turned into what felt like days, their hope of escape dwindled. The mansion had ensnared them in its labyrinthine interior, a maze with no end. They continued to move, driven by the sheer will to survive, but with each step, the mansion seemed to grow larger, its corridors extending into infinity. The friends realized that they were no longer in a simple haunted house, but caught in a web woven by something far more ancient and malevolent. The book they had found was not merely a collection of strange writings, but a key that had unlocked a door to a realm where the rules of their world did not apply. As they wandered the endless halls, they wondered if they would ever find their way back to the world they knew, or if they were doomed to wander the mansion forever, caught between reality and the realm of nightmares. The mansion held them tight in its grip, a grip that showed no signs of loosening, a mystery with no solution in sight. In this realm where time seemed to stretch and compress at will, Abby, Brian, Chris, and Dana found themselves adapting to the mansion's capricious nature. Their initial fear morphed into a cautious respect for the house and its unseen inhabitants. The friends discovered that certain symbols in the book they carried influenced the mansion's behavior, offering them temporary reprieve or aiding in their navigation through the shifting architecture. Utilizing these symbols as best they could, they stumbled upon a grand ballroom, its chandeliers casting eerie shadows over the dust-covered dance floor. Here, they encountered the first sign of hope since their arrival, a grand clock, its hands moving backward. Recalling a passage from the book, they realized that this clock might hold the key to their escape. Working together, they deciphered the passage, revealing it to be an incantation that could potentially reverse the mansion's hold on them. With nothing left to lose, they recited the incantation, directing their collective will towards the desire to return home. The clock's hands stopped, then slowly began to move forward. The mansion trembled around them, as if resisting their attempt to break free. The air shimmered, and the once solid walls started to become translucent, revealing glimpses of their world on the other side. But the mansion was not yet ready to release its grasp. The floors beneath them began to undulate, forcing them to cling to each other as they navigated towards the ballroom's grand doors, now slightly ajar, revealing the night sky of their own world. Just as they reached the threshold, a force unseen pulled them back, separating them. Each friend was flung into a different part of the mansion, isolated and alone. Now divided, they faced their own personal trials, challenges designed to test their resolve and desire for freedom. Abby found herself in a garden of statues that whispered secrets of the mansion's heart. Brian wandered into a hall of mirrors that reflected not his image but his deepest fears. Chris was trapped in a room filled with clocks, each ticking away a different time, a puzzle to solve. Dana encountered a library that whispered tales of those who had entered before them, offering clues to their collective escape. Despite the odds, their bonds proved stronger than the mansion's desire to keep them. Drawing on the knowledge they had gained and the strength they found in each other, they each overcame the challenges presented to them, slowly making their way back to the ballroom. Reunited once more, they found the grand clock had opened a portal, a window to their world. With the mansion shaking around them, as if in the throes of a great storm, they realized this was their moment. Hand in hand, they stepped towards the portal, the familiar sights and sounds of their world growing clearer with each step. Just as they were about to step through, a voice, ancient and sorrowful, echoed through the mansion, pleading for them to stay. Ignoring the voice, they stepped through the portal, the boundary between worlds sealing shut behind them. They found themselves outside the mansion, the dawn of a new day breaking over the horizon. Though they had escaped, the mansion remained, a silent sentinel in the forest, waiting for the next curious souls to uncover its secrets. The book they had brought with them was gone, perhaps reclaimed by the mansion, its secrets sealed once again. As they made their way back to civilization, the mansion faded into the mist behind them, its presence a haunting reminder of their journey. They had escaped with their lives, but the experience had changed them, binding them together with a bond forged in the deepest shadows of fear and the brightest light of hope. Just as they reached the edge of the woods, stepping into the comforting glow of the morning sun, a realization dawned upon Abby, Brian, Chris, and Dana, chilling their newfound relief. They noticed something was off. Their surroundings were just slightly askew, familiar yet undeniably altered. The town they had grown up in, known like the back of their hands, now held subtle discrepancies that gnawed at the edges of their consciousness. The people they passed on the streets glanced through them with eyes empty of recognition, going about their lives in a manner that was eerily automated. Buildings stood where none had been before, and familiar landmarks were nowhere to be found. It was their town, but it wasn't. Confused and increasingly alarmed, they made their way to what should have been Dana's house, only to find a stranger living there, claiming no knowledge of her or her family. The realization hit them like a physical blow. They had indeed escaped the mansion, but not back to their world. The incantation had not returned them home. It had transported them to a parallel universe, one that mirrored their own, but with stark, unsettling differences. As the gravity of their situation sunk in, they retraced their steps, driven by a desperate hope to find the mansion again, to use the book and its incantations to correct their mistake and truly return home. But the path they had followed into the forest was gone, the landmarks they had noted on their journey erased, as if the mansion and the forest itself had never existed. In this new world, their bonds of friendship were tested like never before. They were the only ones who shared the memories of their true home, the only ones who knew of the other world from which they had come. This shared truth was a solace, but also a source of relentless longing. They attempted to recreate the incantation from memory, scrawling symbols and words on scraps of paper in a frantic attempt to unlock a door back to their reality. But without the book, their efforts were in vain. The specific language, the precise intonation, the material conditions of the ritual, all were lost to them. In their search for answers, they discovered others like them, people who spoke in hushed tones of worlds that were not quite right, of lives that had been inexplicably altered. They formed a clandestine network, piecing together fragments of knowledge about the multiverse, the mansion, and the book. Their new mission was clear: find a way back to their original universe, or find a way to make this new one their home. As days turned into months and months into years, they adapted. They built new lives in this parallel universe, always with one eye searching for the slightest clue, the faintest whisper of a way back home. They became explorers on the fringes of reality, scholars of the arcane and the unknown, forever changed by their ordeal. And then one day, a breakthrough, a rumor of a book, not unlike the one they had found in the mansion, surfacing in the most unexpected of places. With renewed hope, they prepared for a new journey, a quest that would take them across realities, through dimensions untold. The story of their original adventure, their escape from the mansion, became a legend, a tale of caution and courage, of loss and determination. But it was their ongoing journey, their relentless search for a way back, that defined them. They had faced the unimaginable and emerged unbroken, forever searching, forever hopeful. And so the story does not end, but twists anew, a narrative spiral that reaches into the unknown, inviting those who hear it to wonder, to dream, and perhaps to venture a little further into the shadows in search of their own truths. Thank you for listening to my channel.